think I'm live. I assume I'm live. It says I'm live. Yes. Hi, welcome to another Paint Chat. It's Wednesday again. Kind of already, but thankfully, finally. You know what I mean? I hope you guys are all doing well. It's May the 6th. We already had May the 4th and all the amazing Star Wars memes. And the saddest Taco Tuesday I think I've ever experienced in my life. And now we're here at Wednesday. So I'm going to say hi to everybody here in the old chat. What do we got here? Diamond, I appreciate you being here. Shale, welcome. Viper Taha, good to see ya. Jay Alex, thank you for being here. Lurk away, whatever you need. Paul, thank you, as always, for being my amazing moderator. Daniel, welcome. And Todd and Mr. Paddock, welcome. Okay, so I don't see Conan Studios, but he's totally helped me to remember to, if you're enjoying these paint chats, make sure to give it a thumbs up, because then YouTube can understand that maybe it's a likable thing. I don't know, whatever. I've got more Catachan. I've got Bulgrin here as well, so I'm thinking of working on him maybe a little bit. He's not that far off, although I don't really have all of his paints, so as long as I don't mess anything up of the blue that I've already done, and I don't have to go look for it, then I think I can finish him. So that's the hope. That's how we're doing here. Oh, man. Hey, Conan, Jessica. Oh, my goodness, so many people from Malaysia. Wow, I hope you're doing all right over there. Torrent Wolf, welcome. Welcome to all of the amazing people. Okay, so that's what's happening. Right. How have you guys been handling the world? I've been sad because one of my favorite hobbies was going to the movie theater every single week, regardless of what was out in the theater, and usually I'd watch like anything. So I've had to do that at home, but it's been kind of funny because I've had a collection of like dollar store found movies over the years, and I picked up a few more recently from a dollar store because why not? Because that's where you find cheap hobby stuff. And we attempted to watch Death Race 2050. It was not good. It was unwatchable after a while. So alas, my stamina for really bad movies is not what it used to be. All right, Keeklin. What do you mean, why Guard? The Guard is the best. They have all of the best tanks and the best guns. They are the coolest. And Catachan have a really awesome story. There's a ton of moxie to them. I like their stratagems. And they're the most military-like as well. You know, they're the Starship Troopers of the Imperium, and they're more of the everyman. Like, Space Marines are fine, don't get me wrong. They're fine. But I don't think they have the same personality as Guard. And, you know, Sisters of Battle are, again, fine, but I think they need supplemental Guard support just because they're such a medium-range army, and I don't know that I play that particularly well. So, you know, you can load up with Lehman Russes. They have Baneblades. I mean, they've got Marauders and all of the cool Valkyries and Vendettas and all the cool Airwing stuff. Like, I think Guard has literally the best toys. So, that's why Guard. All right, checking out the chat, and then I'll actually start painting. Jerry, good evening, Miranda. Quick question. Last week you mentioned that obtaining craft paint is proving difficult. Has that situation changed? I haven't looked. I haven't been to the store lately. I just know the last time I was there, all of the craft paints had been cleaned out. I wasn't necessarily shopping for any, just because I've amassed a lot over the years, and I never throw anything away, apparently. So I can always find what I'm looking. Well, can't always find what I'm looking for, but I always have usually what I need around. But yeah, I guess apparently there was a huge trend or whatever. I guess with the weather getting warmer, people were wanting to go outside and do more crafts, and maybe they're painting wooden thing. I don't know what other hobbies people have, but you know, stuff that craft paints are probably more appropriately used for. And everybody was buying them all at the same time, because what's happening here, and I don't know if it's happening in other parts of the world, is we'll have a rash of one specific thing that everyone's decided they need to buy all at once. So obviously, like, toilet paper was the big first thing. But then it was like hair shampoo, conditioner, hair care products. And then it was craft paints. So it's like one specific thing seems to get cleaned out, and then, you know, it replenishes. But I haven't checked. I haven't gone out other than to go to work. So then I'm sorry, I don't have a good answer for you. Space Wolves. Yes, now we have murder hornets. I haven't looked that up yet. I just saw a thing, and I'd been so washed with all of the, you know, new craziness every day that I'm like, next. Let's go on to the next thing. Whatever. I'm going to paint some Catachan and do some sewing. Shale, I had a full day today of people calling my phone in a panic because Yahoo News posted an article saying that my company was going bankrupt, which is objectively not true. Oh, no. Well, they have to retract that. The damage is done, right? Oh, my gosh. Well, that must have been super fun. Yeah, I remember back when I worked a second job for a long time at Barnes & Noble, and there would be rumors periodically of that happening. And so, of course, people would randomly call the store as if some rando bookseller is going to know, like, all the inner workings of the corporate goings-on with the company. I don't know. And so they would ask you, and you'd be like, I don't know what you're talking about. And they'd be like, yes, you do. As if it's a secret. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Do you want a book? Yeah, it was a thing. Was Death Race with Lee Majors? No, it had Clockwork Orange, Malcolm McDowell in it. He was the biggest name. And then a bunch of everyone else. Yeah, and caveat, I haven't seen the first Death Race, which I ought to. I'm really bad on the backlog of, like, the classics, especially movies from before I was born. But this one was just, it was on the level of, if you've ever seen, Rob Zombie did a movie, a cartoon called El Super Beasto. It's that level of just constant in your face, on the nose, no subtlety, not even particularly humor, just talking at you a whole lot. It just, it was too much. A lot of flashlights and fire. It's pronounced Catachan. Oh, that's right. Chaos Emperor. Thank you for the correction. Catachan as opposed to Catacants. Or is that what happens when they miss? Do you know what the secret weapon of the Catachan is? Did you already write the answer? The secret weapon. Is it their amazing super built arms? Have you seen the movie Miami Connection? You need to watch it. That song Against the Ninja is fire. Oh gosh. No, I haven't seen that one. I'll have to check it out. I think that, I don't know what the next one I'm going to see is. We watched Extraction this weekend too, which was a Netflix deal, and it was very okay. I felt like it actually had too much violence in it, and it made me a little sad to watch Chris Hemsworth kill quite so many people. Especially when it seemed like it had a sort of a theme of, like, oh, look at all this violence, it's so bad. Here's our main hero killing everybody. Okay. It wasn't bad. I feel like it actually had a better story than I think they realized, and then it got ignored. So, it is what it is. Astro Militarum are best for one reason. They are normal humans doing the best for their own kind. Best video that hammers this home is Pity the Guardsman. Oh, there's a video for it, huh? I mean, a lot of them are conscripted, but yeah, I mean, I think a lot of them do sign up too. They also have the best toys, though, because guards aren't genetically altered super soldiers or crazy aliens. They're just some poor dumb bastard in a trench with a knife who really would rather be somewhere else, and that's relatable. That's true. I think so. I don't know. If they live on a hive world, I don't know that being in the guard is, and just traveling the world, possibly getting sent on suicide missions isn't a step up, because hive worlds sound really scary. But maybe. I haven't really seen any sort of indication of 40K having any sort of normal world. You have, like, the really decadent pleasure planets, and then you've got, like, hive worlds and mining worlds, and all of those sound awful. just flat out awful. So maybe the Guard just have a different perspective on that. Oh, Warehouse Bard. Oh, thank you. Keep it up. Well, I will. I should probably start painting. I'll do that in a minute. Still laugh at the, for people who need to source the GW. Oh man, I'm way behind on the chat. Sorry, I keep getting distracted. Just another media distraction. Murder Hornets, 2 inches long and 3 stings can kill an adult. That's just, it's amazing. Regular bees can do that too. I think it's a motivation thing. Killer bees can do that, right? And those were the first, like, human error. One of the earlier human errors of, like, let's make bees. Justin recently finished my Menoth army. Now starting an Age of Sigmar Underworld Warband. Which one? I don't know that I'll be playing Age of Sigmar, but are you painting like Nighthaunt? Are you painting the Sepulchral Guard? Like, all of those are so great. Oh my god, the Sepulchral Guard are so awesome looking. They just feel like Jason and the Argonauts to paint them up, and they're probably the most fun. And then the Nighthaunt are beautiful, fiddly, scary fiddly models, but absolutely beautiful. So yeah, some of those Underworld models are really cool. Oh man, congratulations, that sounds great. And congratulations on finishing your Menoth army. Like, how many points do you have for that? Just curious. For people who need a source for GW, Army Painter, Vallejo Paints, you can get them from a hobby shop in Canada, Sword and Steel. They have a YouTube channel on Facebook. I saw she had a video out, or the girls had a video out about that. So I'm glad that there's some options. Still laugh at the usual Gundam model kit displays and how bad Barnes & Noble is about displaying them. Bad about a lot of things. You know, you've seen Death Race 2000. It's a Jason Statham movie. I actually haven't. So, as much as I adore Jason Statham, I don't know that I can necessarily follow all of the movies he's in. I remember seeing him back in the in a movie called In the Name of the King, which was by Uwe Boll. And me going, wow, you really can just waste talent, can't you? Bless his heart. Hey, Baden, are you doing Zilgarok tonight? No, Catachan arms aren't a secret. Oh, that's a fair point. Canada's colder, so there's some shields here, coast to coast. I'm in Vancouver, Victoria. We're isolated, so not cold now, but we're good. We're good. Shoot 'em Up was like that 90-minute film glorifying gun violence and with an ending that said, no guns are bad. Yeah, it's like, make up your mind, you know what I mean? Aw, thanks, Basils. Appreciate it. Oh, it works. Oh, I see. Death Race 2000, the original with Carradine and Stallone. Yeah, so the original is what I need to see, and then I guess I'll get around to the one with Statham in it. But, oh my gosh, have you guys heard the news? Because I posted it on Twitter. It was the most exciting thing of the week. Demolition Man is getting a sequel. I know. It's the best news, because I think they have finally figured out that while they've taken all of these major IPs and they keep adding terrible sequels to them, if they take movies that were already kind of mid-level, B-level, and they take those to start making sequels of, I think that might be a good formula. Just saying. Just saying. We'll start ZG soon. Okay. They'll take care, Brayden. I appreciate you popping by. But they did give you a las gun and strength 4. There are normal planets, but they're very rare and usually not under Imperial control. Yeah, that's what I would imagine. Ever play Kill Team? I actually have a video on my channel of me playing Kill Team against Adam from Tabletop Minions. In fact, I play Primaris Marines in that particular battle. They were all his models, and he played Necrons, and it was a fun match. And then I have played Kill Team since then. Don't really like playing Kill Team with just all guardsmen, because 20 models feels like a lot for that. But now that they have elites and commanders, you can have, Bulgrin and higher point level dudes in there. So, yes. I haven't played Kill Team lately, but yes. And at some point, I'm going to be home and not occupied doing something, and Paul's going to show me how to play Kill Team on Tabletop Simulator, and it'll be amazing. So, it's happening. It's happening eventually. If I can keep up the pace tonight, I might get Old Witch 2 finished. Are you on the oh my gosh. So, what do you have left to work on? I'm so excited. The Olish 2 model. Oh, she's so beautiful. It's gotta be some cockroach. Bite your head off, man. Howdy, finishing some Nurglings and building Crow, I think. Alright, very nice. Jason Statham is an awesome actor that has a really bad habit of starring in really crappy movies. I did see The Meg. I saw The Meg for him, too. And, that was a movie not made for Americans. The Name of the King was so bad. It was so bad. I saw that in the theater. I went to the movie theater to watch that movie. So I was like, oh, this looks awesome. It's medieval, and I love all of that stuff. And it's Jason Statham being kind of a ninja, because he flips around a whole lot. And, yeah, it was really bad. But he was really great in Hobbs and Shaw. Oh my gosh, and one of my favorite roles for him was Spy with Melissa McCarthy. He's unreal good. Oh my god, he does comedy so well. The weirdest Statham movie is Ghosts of Mars. He has far too much hair. I haven't even seen it. Hey Chris, how you doing? I quartered a pile. Did I see you were coming to a GameSpot in Ontario tournament before COVID struck? No. I was going to run a retreat out, another type of Valhalla thing out at the Mini Wargaming Bunker in Welland, Ontario. That was supposed to be in June. We had to cancel that, obviously. So it's just normal Valhalla this year. No, absolutely not. These days, any sequel is made in the 21st century is doomed to be dumbed down, devoid of story, and butchered of what made it good. In the 21st century, so you're going basically since 2000, there have been no good sequels. I don't know that I can agree with that. I don't immediately have a counter to that. I'm gonna think of one. Gremlins, some highlights, some base are what I have left. Might also get some source painting. Oh wow, yeah, you really are in the final stages. Oh, that's so exciting. Today we gouge evil from its shell. I must see this in the theater. Good, I met Statham in a Starbucks a few years back. Oh, that's awesome. Well, I'm very jealous. That's awesome. I hope he's nice. Tell me he's nice. Nothing ruins like an actor experience for me worse than finding out that they're huge jerks. Which I can happily say that Chris Hemsworth, who I did meet in a Barnes & Noble, is very nice. So, forever one of my favorites, basically. That's what he will be. All right, I've got my water and my tea and then my paint water. So we'll try not to mix these things up tonight. So this needs to be silver. We're gonna go Imperium silver on that. What else needs to be metal on here? I kind of went nuts with that blue, didn't I? I should pull up a picture for reference. Let's not be crazy. All right. Do I have a picture? I do. Hey, look at me. I was so prepared. I've got this dude with the Bane mask. All right. Middle dude there. Oh, I don't have the decal, so we won't be doing that. Oh man, I guess I could do the yellow and black. I could probably figure that out. And that is gold. Although funny enough, that looks like a skull, not a double eagle. Oh, because it's his shield. What did he do? He has a bludgeoning weapon. I don't know, whatever. That'll be silver. We're gonna go with that. Okay. On to, oh, not that one. Gotten lazy about layering all these pictures on here. Modern good sequel, Blade Runner 2049. I totally respect your opinion. But Blade Runner 2049 was a beautiful movie, completely gorgeous. It felt super devoid of story, and I don't know why Joker, My Chemical Romance, jeez, what's his name? Oh my gosh. Why was that guy in it? You know the actor I'm talking about, but the main bad guy who just sort of like lays around and doesn't do anything through the whole movie. It seemed weird. Could have done a little better is all I'm saying. Okay, so that's a belt. What would the belt be? It's kind of modern. You think the belt might be made of more cording than just like dark leather? I think I might use my wrought iron color on it. Now that I'm distracted and want to do that one instead. There we go. IP Man sequels, not dumbed down, just saying. Oh gosh, there you go. The Dark Knight. Well, The Dark Knight was a reboot though, and then it's a whole trilogy. It's about an hour and a half from me. I need to watch it next time. Watched Hobbs and Shaw basically for Idris Elba, and he's great too. Never seen the other movies. I figured I didn't need to. Was not disappointed. Nope. It's always, you always know you're gonna get from that, and it's actually kind of nice sometimes. I really like Blade Runner 2049. It wasn't as good as the original, but it's still really good. See it tonight, man. The original Aliens. Yeah, but Aliens was in the 80s. If we're looking at the 21st century, we have to be thinking of something post 2000. There's gotta be some superior sequels. I guess you gotta start by thinking of what even great movies even came out at that time. Because there's 1999, which was sort of another magical year, kind of like 83. And then everyone watched boy bands and movies went down the toilet. That was a great movie. That's how you make a great movie. Hey, Evan. Appreciate you being here. I'll give you examples of bad reboots. Robot Cop, Terminator, Transformers, G.I. Joe, Lone Ranger, worst of all, Star Wars. No, you're not wrong on any of those. I'm thinking smaller scale, like not the big tent pose buttons, because yes, like the entire Aliens franchise has gone off the deep end, off the rails, lost its heart, lost everything. It's something I've become very used to happening for IPs I like. So even with what happened with Star Wars, it was sort of like, okay, it's like when someone you care about is like, dies or something, and you're like, well, at least I had that time. Please don't resurrect them into a zombie or something. Like, just stop. Just let it be dead. But, they do what they do. As soon as you Bane mask my brain now seems they all sound like a South Park episode. Jared Leto. Oh my god, thank you. Oh, jeez. What do you think of this paint Kickstarter? It's supposed to be a quick and easy alternative. I'm not sure which Kickstarter you're talking about. Funny story. Buddy and I got into our cars to leave and we walked by, clearly coming to the place from Jim. Okay. Evening, people. I'm going to edge highlight my ultramarine helmet, so steady hand and patience is needed. Don't drink Earl Grey tea while doing that. Sequel's amazing, but apples and oranges to the original. So we got out, went to the store, and I was in line right behind him. After he ordered, he turned around and was about to say hi to him, and he shot me that look he uses in the movies as if he was about to kick my ass. So I didn't say anything. Oh, God. I think I would have just been like, hi! Anyway, because I haven't really been starstruck, but it doesn't seem like the most clever things come to my mind whenever I see someone I'm excited to see. Unless I've prepared something, because I have done that, where I'm like, oh my gosh, if I ever meet this person, I'm going to ask them this. Suspense horror versus action thriller. I assume you're still talking about Aliens. Miranda, did anyone here remember to remind you, I think you are about to, that in 1998, The Undertaker threw mankind off Hell in a Cell into the Spanish announcer table while I was away? No, I need you here every time, Siobhan, to tell me that. Because, honest to God, I will never remember that fact, even though I've probably read it 100 times on the stream. Sad I never got a sequel to Real Genius. There's still hope that, well, I think Demolition Man's going to be interesting. I am looking forward to the Top Gun sequel. I don't care what anybody says. And I keep hearing there's going to be a Bill and Ted sequel. I don't know. I am curious about that. What other ones they do where they were like where the main characters had aged significantly. Men in Black 2 was actually not too bad, if I recall correctly. Like the most recent ones, they stopped numbering them, so I can't remember what order or whatever they're in. But where they had Josh Brolin, I kind of liked that one. Real genius. There you go. They should have stopped at Alien and Aliens. You know, nothing made Aliens 3 better than watching Aliens 4. Conan franchise was botched a few years ago. Yes! Oh my gosh, I just realized the other day Jason Momoa was one of the, well, that was the thing. We saw Extraction, and that director did the last Conan movie with Jason Momoa, and I was like, wow, I guess I'm going to watch this next, because Lord knows I don't have 800,000 productive things to be doing. So, yeah, the guy who made Extraction made that movie. My favorite underworld horror band is just the Skaven. Oh, fair enough. I haven't painted any Skaven. I think I bought some a while ago, but they're in the pile of shame because obviously I'm not very fast at getting stuff painted. I don't know about how many points for my mana. Got it as a used miniature. Got a few war bands like Liberator, Blood Reaver, Blood Warriors. My favorite, the Skaven warband for Underworld. Oh, Skaven. Predator movie where all humans were transported to an alien world was actually pretty good. You know, the Predator movies, for whatever reason, I didn't see until much, much later. And then there's like Aliens versus Predator, and I don't know if there's ever been a good version of that. They're just, oh my gosh. I keep feeling like it's just in the wrong hands every time. Damn right, Top Gun. That's right, Daniel. Cannot wait. Nothing adds flavor to good Earl Grey than Zandari dust. Bad Boys for Life, aged main characters. Yes, and that was pretty mediocre, honestly. Because, of course, I went and still saw that. They have finished filming the new Bill and Ted movie. They have? Okay. Like, it's been more than 5 years since I've seen that image of them in the phone booth. This has been a very long time coming. I'm so curious as to what this movie is going to look like. Bill and Ted movies was filming. Bill and Ted Face the Music. Okay. The Last Starfighter is supposedly getting a sequel that's getting canceled constantly. Fair enough. The Crow has a similar problem. The Crow movies, because they made one good one, basically. But I know that they were supposed to have another one. It was supposed to have, like, oh my gosh, I can't remember any of the actors' names here. But anyway, it was supposed to be getting made. That was years and years ago, because I actually talked to James O'Barr at a Comic-Con once because I was buying some of his artwork. And he had mentioned that. Then nothing happened, and I mean, it was on IMDb as a pending pre-production thing, but I guess movies just fall apart frequently enough. Oof, this wrought iron is so dried out. That is not no bueno. I'm gonna use it anyway. Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull didn't really try to mask Harrison Ford's age. Yeah. Josh Brolin was MIB3. Okay, there you go. Harrison Ford's aviation skills are not masking his age either. Oh my gosh, I know. He does. He needs to stop. Bless his heart. I love Top Gun too. They should make a sequel to Iron Eagle. I would watch that in a heartbeat. It's like, can you even imagine? I don't even think millennials realize right now that you can still get like a pilot's license privately. Like, they all think that's something just old people do, I guess. All right, we're gonna attempt to get this wrought iron color on his belt, and I'm going to attempt to be very careful because I honestly don't know where any of these paint colors are to replace what I've painted on him. So we're just gonna do our best. Or wander on to Catachan. Because honestly, I'm having a lot of fun just chatting about movies. I liked a lot of the Rocky sequels. Like, I thought Rocky Balboa, and that was in the aughts. That was pretty good. Had heart. Creed is sort of a new franchise, but a take on Rocky, obviously. And I really liked the first one of that movie. You know, I remember about Aliens Requiem is that it was a teen slasher movie. Yeah. Keegan 300. Are you still playing War Machine? I haven't lately. I haven't played anything lately because there's nobody to play with. But yeah, I still have my War Machine stuff. I actually played a bunch at the beginning of the year because I was going to be super on it this year. I know, get the games in. I was in a tournament at Indie Storm and played a little bit at Genghis Con. And then the apocalypse happened and that really sort of cramped it. But, you know, once it subsides, probably be able to get back to it. So yes, to answer your question, I do. Oh, yeah, the originals are the best. Only sequels or prequels are good in Aliens franchise. Next Star Trek reboot. Okay. Well, oh no, it's old. Do you guys have hope for the new Ghostbusters movie? Because even Ghostbusters 2 wasn't actually considered particularly good. It did flop in the theater. And I don't think the fans are super happy about it either. And this new one seems like they're doing something a little different. It feels a little bit like it's doing what Stranger Things did. And they're just kind of doing the kid thing, but I like that direction a lot better than 2016, we'll say. This paint is so bad. Rocky 4 is the best Rocky. Is that the one where he fights the Russians? I also think Daniel Craig Bond movies are good. The Quantum of Solace is a bit mediocre. Yes, I liked Skyfall. I love the music for Skyfall a lot. That Skyfall had an interesting story going on with it. But I think The World Is Not Enough is still my favorite. Let's see. Top Gun Killer Clowns from Outer Space 2. We need that to happen. Oh, sure. Just get another sequel to, or get a sequel to, what is it, Freaked out there too while we're at it. Movies falling apart doesn't really stop them from being released these days. Well, it depends on what stage it falls apart because, yes, there's going to be a lot of problems with that. In fact, that was one of the problems with Aliens 3 because it was a David Fincher movie and it was his first directorial debut on a movie because he'd only done music videos up until that point, and the producers were so up his butt all the time about the production that it really harmed the production because there were so many decisions that he wasn't able to make. Cool things. Speaking of Star Trek, I met Jason Getrick, long Doug Masters from Iron Eagle, at the Monticello liquor store once. Oh, I hope that was under happy circumstances. You're a Mystery Science Theater fan, 3000 fan. I don't go out of my way to watch them too much, but they did do an amazing watch of Manos Hands of Fate because I do have a soft spot for, well, indie movies in general, especially ones where they're just super weird, and Manos Hands of Fate is probably one of the strangest independent movie productions ever made, including like the mysterious disappearance of many people involved in the movie. So yeah, I remember seeing that one. They're pretty funny. So if we put effort into writing a good story, it'd be far better. Even the worst would be redeemable. True. I tend to like some movies many hate, particularly sequels. I'm guessing I'm more easygoing and forgiving. It sort of depends on what you're looking for, how you judge a movie. And it's hard to not compare it to the first. And so the first is your first experience enjoying something and really liking certain characters. And so if they do anything different, I think it can tend to have an off-putting feel to a lot of folks. But even then, a lot of the motivation for making a sequel is, oh, this first one made money. The first one we probably spent more time making the movie or making the story on because we were more worried about it succeeding in the box office. well, now it's a sequel and we don't have to worry as much because there's a built-in fan base. So let's just rush out the movie. I think that's kind of what generally happens. So it'd be unfortunate. All right, so far I am indeed painting in the lines. It's pretty good progress. Yeah, look at that lovely dark belt. Brr. Oh yeah, I guess I never actually gave you guys a close-up picture of, like, this is all stuff I painted last Valhalla. So that's the last time I've touched this model. Hi. Hi guys and dolls. Hey Thomas Gribble. 6 in the head. Hey, welcome. Welcome to the chat and the hangout. We are literally just hanging out, chatting, painting, relaxing. You guys are legitimately my favorite part of the week right now because the whole rest of the week just feels like this whole constant stress ball. And even when I'm kind of working on some of my own projects, just quietly in your head or whatever, and I listen to a lot of historical podcasts and stuff, and like I've been listening to all this stuff on the Cold War. It's not de-stressing because you're like, oh my gosh, that almost happened? What? That almost happened? Oh. So this is actually like, I'm relaxing and I'm talking about movies, which is one of my favorite subjects ever, and I'm painting and chilling out with you guys and hearing what you guys are doing. So it's also the most social I guess I get to be in the week. So thanks. Thank you for hanging out with me. My sentiments exactly. As a writer, it triggers me to no end. Well, yeah, right? And that's the thing. And that's one of the things that actually has always ticked me off, right? Because you'll have conversations with people who might be overly forgiving of a movie where they're like, well, you know, they did what they could. And you're like, no. This is a Hollywood movie. That means that writer got paid somewhere in the neighborhood of $500,000 to $1 million for that story. And, you know, for plenty of other writers we know of, and you yourself may in fact be experiencing, it's like, no, I write a better story than that. No one's paying me $500,000 for my script. That jackhole did get it. So yeah, I can see there being sort of I understand the rage on that. In addition to the fact that, you know, a bad story leads to a bad movie, no matter how much pretty you put on it. Transformers. Avatar. I mean, honestly, I was never impressed with the story. It made no damn sense to me. I mean, obviously it's the Fern Gully deal, and so it's sort of a garbage in, garbage out situation where you're like, man, this could have been so much better, but because you only put that level of effort in, or you didn't take the time to understand the material you had, it squanders so much of the other effort. So, maybe if they were less focused on identity politics and checking off the SJW boxes and actually focused on plot character development. Well, everybody sort of exists in their own little bubble of their story, and I think, the bubble's all gone into this one very similar mindset, which doesn't really communicate well with the people who are going to actually see these movies. So they definitely need to get some new ideas in there, and I think Blumhouse tries to do that. So total credit to him for that. But I don't know, maybe this creates a unique opportunity for those indie filmmakers out there to make something really good. Man, this is a crazy film to be sure. I know, it's so crazy. It's not popular, but I do like Alien 3. With the alternate, whoa, I missed you. Oh, jeez. With the alternate cut, it's rather different. Oh, have I seen that? I don't even remember. Manos, the Hand of Fate. No, it's Manos, Hands of Fate, I'm pretty sure is how it's said. Because Manos is hand in Spanish, and so it's hand of fate. That's the first warning about the movie, basically. I'm just excited for Scoob to come out. I'm such a love for the Scooby-Doo series. Oh my god, that's the one where he's kind of a puppy, right? Oh, I don't know. I don't know about that one. But I never watched the Scooby-Doo movies. I just saw the Hanna-Barbera cartoons as a kid. Enjoy building and painting miniatures, but unfortunately no one to play them as there's no one in the area to play them. Yeah, but stuff reopens eventually, and people are going to come in with some beautifully painted stuff. And if they don't, then maybe just a little bit of ridicule. I may not be mean, but really. Yet another point I agree with was write the story already and leave the politics and life events out of it. Well, you can even pull from that, but do it poetically, do it subversively, do it subtly. Like, just don't beat people over the head saying, and this is how the world works, when it obviously doesn't. I like Aliens 3, I don't understand why many don't. It was just very different. It's not even a bad movie, although I couldn't tell you the last time I saw it, so I don't know, speak incorrectly on that. It was just a weird movie. I find certain movies appeal to me at certain points in my life, even if they're crap, and they can mean a lot at the right time. Yeah, and that's art, actually. That is a part of it. But usually it means it has to have something else going on with it instead of just being a completely non-creative endeavor. He has tank treads for belly armor. I mean, yeah, basically. As far as I can tell. Even when you look at his picture here, like, that's pretty much what they all look like. You know, you gotta reuse stuff in the Imperium. There's a lot of manufactorums churning out war gear. Just might as well slap it on you. It makes sense to me. Two of my favorite movies are Alien and Terminator. Named my Great Danes Sarah and Ripley. Don't care much for the female leads in the movie, so I don't care that females are leads in the movie if the movie is good. Okay? My brother had a horrible iguana named Ripley, named after Ripley from Alien as well. She was a neurotic, crazy reptile, and apparently, iguanas make terrible pets, just FYI. They're horrible. But yeah, I mean, the 80s had a great run of amazing movies that had female leads, and then we just pretended that didn't happen, I guess. So, Hardcore History of the podcast is amazing. I haven't seen that one. It's fun watching the UK perspective, is pretty much all the convicts are UK TV actors. Oh, really? Well, that makes sense. I guess Aliens had a ton of British actors, too. I didn't know Newt was a British actor. Found one of the greatest YouTube channels of all time. I'll send you the link on Discord. I guarantee that you'll be watching every video on that channel after the one video. Okay. Alright, send it over. I was trying to explain The Usual Suspects to a coworker who is sadly deprived and never got to see it. The Usual Suspects is a fantastic film. Christopher McQuarrie, I believe, is that one. It is. It's a fun story, and it's clever, and even if you figured it out, it doesn't make it not clever, which is one of the things where you'll run into people who are like, well, I figured out the thing, so basically The Sixth Sense was garbage. And you're like, no, it could be a good movie. Like, you figuring it out doesn't make it bad. Like, I don't know. Talented Mr. Ripley is one of my favorites from that perspective as well. It's actually the movie I constantly reference whenever I point out that a movie can in fact be better than the book, because the Patricia Highsmith book was actually significantly disappointing after reading it and watching the movie, because the movie just does such a better job of characterizing Tom Ripley, whereas in the book he was kind of always a sociopath and you never feel for him like you do in the movie. So I think they should make a sequel for Evolution. You know what? I agree. Just get that one out there, because it's ridiculous. It was a ridiculous movie. Can't blame the writers. There are a lot of people who try very hard but aren't good writers. The ones who need to be blamed are the execs who greenlight movies. Kind of, but I mean, the execs come in and they're like, I don't know, you're a writer. This is your job. You're good at it, right? Okay, let's go. I mean, yeah, at different levels, like, there's blame. And the executives do take the blame for when movies tank. I mean, that is their job a lot of times if it's a really bad go. But the other thing, to the credit of the writers, because I've watched, like, Max Landis talk about his writing experience, because he wrote, like, American Ultra. It was an interesting story, but, yeah. The something Chronicles, Teenagers with Magical Powers, Mutant Powers, whatever. Mutant, no. Oh, man. I'm just not remembering names tonight. Anyway, so he wrote that, and the thing is, the director, the producer, whoever, gets a hold of the story and they want their notes put in there too. So it's not necessarily even a high fidelity story of what the writer had. And then that excuse goes away when it's writer-director, because then it's like, well, this is exactly what you wanted, so what the hell? What the hell? Hi, Miranda. Hello, everyone. Hey, Larian. Hope you're hanging in there. Are you back writing for work again? Or Memento 2, exact same movie, but in a different motel. I loved Memento. That was great. That was a really great one. Major problem with Hollywood being decision makers are high on cocaine and their own egos most of the time. Well, it's a snow globe. Like, they're so insular, and they don't like outsiders. They don't like new opinions, new ideas. It's total good old boy system from what I can tell. And they occasionally will, bestow acceptance upon some little writer who grovels properly, but that's not a system that's going to last forever. We will see. No one's saying, look at the piece of trash and say, yep, this is gold, make it. Probably. Or they might have to greenlight a deal in order to get another deal made, because that, I guess, is a thing. I don't know. There's a lot of backdoor stuff that happens. I agree with you. In fact, I like seeing a wide range of cast characters, but I hate it when they take such characters and either use them as a political message, agenda. Yeah. Because it's not even respectful to just the character. It's not respectful to the audience. It's just being browbeaten with whatever you're saying. Because it's not like you can't say it, but make it make sense for the character to say it? Nope. Hello, everybody. Oops, forgot my salutations. My bad. Hey, I'm not working on any 40k or Infinity stuff. Admittedly, I'm still hobbying, but I am focusing on small-scale indie fantasy games to play with my girlfriend. Aw. Well, that sounds nice. Small-scale indie fantasy. Are you looking at, like, Frostgrave or something? I'm not anti-SJW, I'm not anti-social justice or anti-equality, but I am anti-taking something that was good and making it bad. There you go. And I think that's valid. And it really comes down, in my view, because you can have many, many different opinions, but the thing that makes it art is your ability to translate that information in a story format, to illustrate a point, to explain something. And if it's Judi Dench as a cat talking at the screen for 3 straight minutes about cats, then it's not very respectful to anybody. Gamer Girl would agree with that about using life events as inspiration for the story, so they didn't blatantly hammer me over the head with it. Iguanas are awful. They're not at all domesticatable. I have 7 reptiles. I want more, but an iguana will never be one of them. So my brother ended up having 2 iguanas growing up. First one was completely crazy, total neurotic from a pet store. I don't know. I don't think it was a good situation. And she lived for a number of years, but I think her own anxiety just killed her eventually. Like, my brother, came, because she had, a big built terrarium. We sort of made this big old thing for her. And I think he just came into his room one day and saw her tail had fallen off. And he was like, why? What even happened that you make your tail fall off? Like, what scared you, right? So that grew back, and it's just like this stiff, chitinous, ugly-looking thing. And then eventually she just died. But, I mean, they get infections really easy, and they carry salmonella, so that's another thing to consider. But he ended up acquiring an older iguana later, Louis, I think was his name, when he was in New York. And because the owner couldn't have him anymore, I think they were moving. And he was totally chill. He loved his life. So it's probably super hit or miss between whether or not you get, a chill reptile or not. Because, yeah, Louis was fine. He was handleable. He loved to eat. He kind of got it, and he seemed happy with that. But, yeah, I mean, if the animal's not, and in general, wild animals should not be held. So there you go. Oh, my gosh, so many. So many of the comments. Still need to watch The Usual Suspects. If only because of your Iron Kingdoms game. Oh, yeah! Oh, great, because I did pull stuff from that, actually. That's funny. Kevin Spacey is, or was, one of my favorite actors ever. Well, he was really good in The Usual Suspects. I've never met him, so I have no idea. I don't get a good sense of him, but he's a good actor. I'd say that Guardians of the Galaxy Part 1 was the best movie ever made, close to Heavy Metal and Titan E. Alright, so Guardians of the Galaxy is pretty good, Space Wolves, but I am going to have to disagree with you, because the best of the movies, especially when you're looking at something that's supposed to compete with, like, Heavy Metal, and especially the best of the Marvel series, is clearly Thor Ragnarok. Clearly. It has all of the right beats. You've got, like, the feeling of sort of Flash Gordon and 80s, and just there's Pegasuses. It's an incredible movie, and Cate Blanchett rocks being, the Queen of Death, and it's before Thor got fat, so that was good. Yeah, that movie is so amazing. Love everything about it. So I like that. And Guardians, I love it because it's really well told as well. But Thor Ragnarok, man, it's my jam right there. Most messed movie I watched was Jacob's Ladder. Spent hours debating Kelsey's. I need to see that movie still. Check that one out at some point. Kevin Spacey's a phenomenal actor. And that's as far as it will go. Yeah, I mean, Hollywood-bred folks are, usually not the most well-adjusted. Executives and casting decisions are made by marketing mooks committees or their producers' pervy predilections. Yeah. My biggest legit what with a book movie was I Am Legend. The only thing the same as the title. I Am Legend is apparently one of those cursed stories. They have never made it like the book. And I don't know what happens, because I think it's, by the time Will Smith was in a version of it, I think that was the third attempt at making it a movie. And every single time, like, they freak out and they go, no, we're going to do something else. Zombies. And they're like, oh, okay. It's not the book then anymore. And they'll notoriously change the end, but you think they wouldn't change that part of the end? Like, that seemed like it was sort of the hook of the movie, the hook of the story. Jacob's Ladder is great. Also basically inspired the Silent Hill franchise. The first Silent Hill, it's not a bad movie. For the video game movies, it's actually pretty legit. That's a side part. But yeah, I do need to see Jacob's Ladder, because I love the Silent Hill franchise. Like, I love that kind of psychological storytelling. Vertigo, getting rolled with it is really good in that regard too. And actually a pretty good freaky movie that's an old classic is, I think, Wait Until Dark. It's Audrey Hepburn playing a blind woman, and she has to fend off a killer. Oh, it's so good. That and Event Horizon. Well, that was the first 40K movie, right? Love Event Horizon. When did it become acceptable for directors/actors, producers to say that fans are the problem? Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters 2016 is the first time I saw the horrible blaming of fans for everything. Well, I take that back. It might have been Star Wars. It was probably the Star Wars prequels. That was the whole idea of, like, toxic fans. Then Ghostbusters. So yeah, Star Wars actually started that. My friend Daz once watched a freaky, trippy movie with a friend where it was a 7-minute loop, and they were looking for things that changed till they realized it was the DVD skipping. You just made me think of Run Lola Run. That's one of those popular indie movies where the same thing is happening over and over. And it's kind of funny because, it was just a little indie film, but it gained some really good traction, and it took them a while to film it. And because so much physical exertion was needed from the actress, they actually had to, by the end of the movie, they had to go back and reshoot some of the earlier scenes because she looked so physically different by the end of the movie for all of the physical exertion. So, kind of a fun fact. All right, what color should these Aquilas be? It looks like they ought to be gold. Okay. Let's get our brown base coat on there. Funny thing I heard today, murder hornets, or with the right lawyer, manslaughter bees. I saw another meme on that in that vein of it was a picture of all these bees flying into a beehive, And the text was like, you know, bees preparing for the murder hornet epidemic, and the bees are holding like toilet paper and Clorox and whatever else, dish soap, I don't know, whatever people went nuts and bought. So I thought that was kind of fun. I like Stargate SG-1 series. Then I like the Stargate SG-1 series, then its movie counterpart. Did I see the Stargate movies? I remember my mom really liked the show, and I would watch that one, the one with Richard Dean Anderson in it, with her. But I think it was really all I ever saw. Sort of. It's called Cell Swords and Spell Slingers. It's a co-op game from Ganesha Games. Use whatever models you want, meant for campaign light RPG play. Ooh. So I know you're already painting miniatures, and that's totally fine. But have you seen the miniature kits for Dungeons and Doggies? I kid you not. They're so cute. So it's literally like dogs, but they are wearing the getup of being a wizard or a bard or a barbarian or any of these things. And you, like, I don't know what the rules are. It's a type of Dungeons and Dragons supplement, I guess. But I remember looking at that, going, yeah, this is going to do well. And I see more and more of it now too. Mastro Bono's Super Lawyer. You can even play solo. How about that? Are you familiar with My Dinner with Andre or Mary and Bruce? Oh my gosh, Mary and Bruce sounds vaguely familiar, but I'm not familiar enough to know what you're talking about. Hi, how are you doing, Brian? Welcome. Hey, Diamond. Guardians is one of the best comic book movies ever. It was very well done. I wouldn't generalize quite that far. No Banner, only Hulk. Also, Jeff freaking Goldblum. Well, yeah. His murderous melty stick. Oh my gosh. And the lady, the sort of grouchy guard, she's, because that's a Taika Waititi movie, and he did Hunt for the Wilder People, which I saw later after looking up Taika Waititi, because I was like, this guy's great. I love his vision of it. And Hunt for the Wilder People is really good too, and she's a similar character actually in that too. Okay, I give you Ragnarok. I agree, just forgot it was there. About 40 lightsabers, son. What? I think it pulls out lightsaber. Oh my gosh. Star Wars fans ruin everything. She was in Born Identity. Oh, was she? Oh, okay. Oh, Hepburn. So lovely. I liked Swimming with Sharks. Great dark comedy about Hollywood. The Last Supper, I think, is another one. It's kind of a 90s dark comedy as well. In a similar vein, actually. It's an interesting one. Another one would be Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. You know, I never really latched onto that one as strongly. The director of Thor Ragnarok is getting a Star Wars film? Oh my god. I don't know. We'll see what that's like. And they're never a problem. I mean, anybody can be the problem if they're horrible enough. It's just when your first response to bad criticism is blaming the fans, that is the incorrect response. We're seeing Run Lola Run. Yes. 40 times the pride, 40 times the fall. Oh gosh, now they're shit talking my audience. Has anyone watched 80s D&D movie Hawk the Slayer? I'm not. Those hornets must be a massive threat to the honeybee populations, which turns into a massive threat for our food supply. They all need to be killed with fire. Maybe? I don't know how exactly you do that. They're pretty dodgy from what I gather. Sounds fantastic, and I must have them right now. Just printing my own models on the 3D printer for the game. Oh, okay. That's cool. First COVID-19, then murder bees. Starting to seem like we're in the Hunger Games. May the odds be in our favor, right? One oddball series I like. Phantasm. Huh. Phantasm. I don't think I've seen that one. Okay, but I still love Rogue One. Best prequels was one. Rogue One was solid. I really liked that movie. I thought it was very, very enjoyable. Hunger Games tends to be one of those love it or hate it movies for me. I didn't like it as much as the books, and I never read the books. And you're welcome. And the Hunger Games story always felt very like a lot of those teenage novels. It's where you find the dystopian stuff anymore, where, you know, we're used to the classic, I guess, the classics you'd read. You know, Aldous Huxley's Brave New World in 1984, and, you know, Fahrenheit 451. And so these teen novels seem to be that now, and you have the Hunger Games, and it seemed like Mortal Engines kind of tried to do that. Oh my gosh, there have been a bunch, and I can't remember them, but all of that. So this sort of dystopian future idea, and teenagers in it, because that's the popular thing. And I guess teenagers are what are reading, or who are reading those things now. You know, his boots can just be the same color. I've got this paint out, and, you know, that's what we're good at. Hunger Games tends to be, my brother in the UK said hearing the COVID radio ad was exactly like being in Hunger Games. Give SFW a shot. Dark 90s comedy. Alright, fair enough. I Am Legend pulled an iRobot. The best version of I Am Legend starred Vincent Price. Oh my gosh. Not a sequel, but a remake. Rat Race was an amazing remake of Mad Max World. Both are hilarious. Interesting. Oh, I forgot the one, The Watchmen. Maybe The Green Hornet. Ugh, I couldn't stand either of those. I thought The Watchmen was terrible. And then my friend who I told that to was like, no, read the comic. It's so much better. And I read the comic and I was like, this is even worse. Take your garbage comic back. So I could not get on board with. It seemed like there's so much wankery. Like the guy who wrote it just wanted to be that Blue Man guy, and he just imagined himself as that. That's all I could get out of it. It seemed like such an egotistical story. It was very off-putting. So I could not be on board for The Watchmen. Have to get to bed. Thanks for hanging out, MacTac. Appreciate it. Hawk the Slayer is classic fun on a budget of $198. Pickled people and silver balls. What is going on? Watchmen was good, but I don't know, like most movies of its sort, the paper version was better, but the film was remarkably faithful. Well, Wargamer Girl, I could have gone with your lightsabers will make a fine addition to my collection, but General Grievous gets enough hate for his Clone Wars version too, so Count Dooku quote for the win. Oh my gosh. This reminded me of Equilibrium. Loved that movie. A mix of 1984 and 451. I don't think I saw Equilibrium. But I mean, if you read any of those stories now, you're like, oh, okay. I think I see what they were talking about. Super weird. If you're commissioned to paint an Emperor-class Titan, what would a proper price be? Not necessarily you, but what would a good price for that be? An Emperor-class Titan. I mean, that is a question that fields more questions, I guess. Because your time will be worth a certain amount, but, you know, your client probably shouldn't be punished if you yourself are just a slow painter. But if you're a moderately, you know, quick painter, then it comes down to like the level of detail. I know that places who do commission paints are generally classify by level of detail. So on the low end, you can start with like 1.5 times or 2 times the model cost for the general level of it, maybe, and then go up from there for if you're adding decals, if you're free, hand doing any of the special details on there. So that question does depend a bit. You really would kind of need to work it out, and what you're willing to do it for, and come to something that you can agree on. So I did that Warcaster Kickstarter, and I'm going to jump in with both feet to wargaming with that one. Okay. Ryan, that's awesome. Well, so out of curiosity, what made you want to back that particular one? Like, I just want to know, did you really like the aesthetic of it? Did the gameplay seem particularly engaging to you? Like, I'm just super curious. I still need to back it. I know I could do late pledging, and I've been lazy about it. And I personally think the gameplay for it looks like it will be super fun. I am less excited about the aesthetic, but I'm very weird about my sci-fi. Warehouse Bride, yes, a lot of them. Mad. The Watchmen was so boring. I agree. Quadruple barrel shotgun, best hero weapon ever. I think The Watchmen was bad. Don't read the comic. Wanted was based on. Yeesh. Yeah, fair enough. Watchmen would arrive at 90 minutes, but 160 minutes now. Yeah, maybe that's the point. It got a little too preachy again. Anyone else belong to the Hawk the Slayer Appreciation Society? No. Not, well, maybe. I don't know. There's a few people in the stream. Oh my gosh, I'm not getting anything done. Yeah, I've seen that movie. One of the best indie movies since before Conan. Hawk the Slayer. All right. I'm going to add that to the list. The movie was made into something about assassins with curving bullets. The comic was about a world where villains won and could murder, rob, and violate any woman they wanted. But if you want to watch like a dark or read a dark comedy or comic and stuff like that, like I think Spawn probably does that better. Because that at least has moral questions. It's not like, oh, well, this is just over and done with. I guess humanity has stopped, Which is a little bit of the conclusion taken when you're like, oh, the bad guys won. You're like, and then? I mean, even the good guys only win for the moment. Especially love the chainsaw duel, especially Reggie's expression when the enemy grabs that huge chainsaw. Oh, it was new. Oh, okay. So you'd be getting in about the same time as a bunch of other people. That's fair. Well, cool. I'm excited for you. I do hope you enjoy it. It'll be a fair bit of painting for you, because it's a full-on war game. They're not doing skirmish level anything with it, even though the tutorials show you a small points level to play, but that is a game that will be designed to be played at much higher points. Basically the same guy who made The Boys, currently on Amazon. Miserable, misanthropic Irishman. The Boys got better as I watched it, but the first episode almost turned me off so much that I was not going to continue. I just decided I'd give it a little bit longer of a chance. And so it has a little more going on to it, but yeah, it is super... It can't see humanity as anything but one way, which I have constantly attributed to a very Hollywood view of humanity, which is maybe why all their stories suck lately. Well, not all of them, but a lot of them. It's like hopeless ideas. Just got home from hanging with the girlfriend. How's everyone doing? Good, chatting mostly about movies, actually. Just talk. We're still okay. So I have a challenge for you. We need to think of a movie in the next 20 minutes that was made since 2000 that was better than the sequel. And my brain isn't working at all for it, apparently, so I need help. One of the Wanted comic was entirely different. Yeah, I never saw that one at all, actually. Watchmen was pivotal agendas of modern day era of pandemonic and propaganda political films ever made. Kind of like 1984 by George Orwell. Well, and even propaganda films can be kind of interesting. It's just, they could take itself so seriously, you know? Also on Warcaster, the Eternus Continuum sounded like fun. Yeah, they seemed like the only, well, not the only interesting one, but like the most unique aesthetically of all of them. Because there's a lot of Gundam-looking stuff in there. And it's fine. That's like fine for one of the factions. I really want to see what other factions they come out with, because I really want my models to look different from each other. That's what I love about the Iron Kingdoms. Ugh, War Machine is such a good at it. Whatever happens with Warcaster, I hope it helps revivify the audience to War Machine as well in a more positive way, because I really love that game. I don't want it to go. Okay. Nope, didn't play that game. I have a friend that played the Avatar game. It was bad, but so much potential. It has so much potential. Comic I really enjoyed was Freshmen. It's about a group of college freshmen who all get superpowers based on what they're doing at the time. Hysterical deconstruction of superhero genre. Nice. So one of my favorite superhero TV shows, if you get a chance to watch it on Amazon, is The Tick. Because the remake of that with Peter Serafinowicz is actually really charming and good. It makes me happy. So I would recommend The Tick over The Boys for sure, even though they're kind of a similar story. And that's actually an interesting dichotomy right there. Hi, Erin Moriarty from just joined. Can I see the Catachans, please? Well, currently I am working on a Bulgrin, who is not a Catachan, so you want to see the Catachans. Here's some of what I painted last week and maybe the week before. Castellan green pants. And of course, the iconic red bandana. And then I've got Duder here. He got painted up last week and finished. Also, I think looks pretty solid. Those amazing Catachan arms, doing what they do best. Shooting guns, obviously. A fella here, who I mostly got finished. I don't think I've gotten a wash on him yet. Oh my gosh, focus. Focus. There we go. Yeah, I haven't gotten the wash on him. Oh, I hate it when I goes down the wrong pipe. Anyway, so there's him. Who else do I have here? He's not washed yet, but he was recently painted. Ta-da! So I don't know. I feel pretty good about how those Catachan are turning out. Oh. You want a film made 2000 plus and with a sequel where the first was better. No, a sequel where the sequel is better than the first. I remember Spawn. Thought it was along the same dark, grim, dark vein as Wanted, where the CIA bad guy kills prostitutes and the mob boss just to prove a point. But Spawn himself is actually like a conflicted character. He's probably the most interesting thing in that series. And it is a fairly nihilistic take, even though it has to do specifically with a war of heaven and hell, but it's not as hopeless, oddly enough, that I recall. Easy, Rugrats go to Paris, hands down. Second G.I. Joe movie was actually much better than the first one. It was sort of Expendables, Fast and Furious-esque. G.I. Joe works best when they don't take it serious and lean into the source. I remember one of my favorite quotes about the G.I. Joe movie is, "I've never seen such rampant disregard for innocent human life." Because, yeah, everybody, so much collateral damage in that movie. Read a good bit into the old Sandman run. No idea how they'll make that into a live-action series. It's honestly the thing that bugs me most about Warcaster. It feels like they just lifted the aesthetic from a generic, far-future sci-fi. Which, I don't see why they'd need to. Like, surely there's more to it than that. But, I don't know. I can't disagree with you necessarily. GW is going to sell out and give Hollywood the go-ahead to do a movie for Warhammer. What directors or studios would you prefer to handle the franchise? Blumhouse, because he trusts his directors, and as long as it's a good director in charge, then it will be a cohesive, coherent vision. I would keep it away from a large studio because that's when they can't get their hands out of it. Unless, apparently, a bigger, more expensive movie is getting made at the same time, and then you get ignored. But that's a lot of luck to rely on. But they are going to be doing the TV series Eisenhorn, I believe. So we're going to start getting a taste of that now. A lot of the guys I play Infinity with were joking about how much the models look just like Infinity or Tau. They look a lot like Infinity. Maybe it was the paint job. I don't know. Ugh, it bugs me because I don't know why they look like that. So, like, okay, there's McFarlane. We get it. They be evil. Mm-hmm. Wanted to see Tarantino Warhammer movie. I mean, that would be a vision. He is an auteur. So, that would be interesting. I would like to see a Warhammer movie without Space Marines, though, to be honest. Like, they can be in it, but I don't want it to be about Space Marines. I'm kind of tired of it being about Space Marines because they're not relatable at all. As it was being mentioned in the chat earlier, you have Guard, you know, they're soldiers. It's the Starship Troopers idea where these are regular people doing whatever. Whereas the Astartes, superhuman, genetically modified, sort of demigod-esque powerful individuals who have no humanity left. Like, they look at humans like little pets or something they take care of. And so I don't think you're necessarily going to easily be able to follow the story of a bunch of Space Marines. And if they act human, then that's really not true to the story of what they actually are. So yeah, don't make it about Space Marines. That's the only thing I would ask. Oh, I love the second G.I. Joe movie. I can't stand Christopher Eccleston. So happy they left him out. Tick was the best. I loved every episode. I know, it made me so happy. What's your view on Sean Bean, Paul Noxie? Yes, what is it? Sean Bean's great. I don't know why he loves dying so much, but he's great. He actually did the the opening narration for the video game Kolot, which is a spooky survival game in Russia based on sort of an old rumor about this mountain pass that I think had become irradiated and haunted. Very short blurb on it. Space Odyssey 2010? But anyways, enough gothiness. I need to see the new Tick on Amazon. Yeah, you do. It's so good. It's so worth watching. It's just, it's sweet. It's sweet. Oh my gosh. Did you read much in the way of graphic novels or manga? Much TV, film, media seems to be lifting more from comics these days. I read a lot of comics as a kid. Like, I remember reading the whole Dark Phoenix saga when I was 12 or 13. I don't know. However old I was. Kid age. And I've hated every attempt at them making a movie about it. Because they miss the heart of that, too. Like, they totally ignore what is happening in the comic to just be like, oh, and then she gets more powerful, and then it corrupts her, and you're like, no, it's a different entity, and they're at war, and never mind, this is apparently beyond you, but okay. And then I read some of those. I read a lot of X-Men, and then I'd follow the side series of the individual X-Men, like Storm and Gambit. I liked Rogue a lot too, but I don't think I actually read her comics. And then I read the Catwoman comics a lot. I liked those too. And then I was done with comics because it was just a constant treadmill of purchasing, and I didn't really like that. I'm not sure if he's a main actor or side actor, but yeah, he's all right. He's great. He's actually in the Silent Hill movie, which is odd, and it's actually really funny to watch the making of, because he's like, this movie's so weird. I don't know what's going on. I watched the Tick cartoon a ton. Sarcastro, who looked like Castro and had the superpowers of sarcasm, right? There's like, that's art too, man. It's so good. I think Tarantino would do a great Kill Team style movie. Small group of dramatic characters going on a bloody mission, sort of an Inglourious Bastards in space. Huh. That is interesting, maybe. Iron Man 2 is a pretty good sequel, but not sure if that counts as it was part of a franchise. Maybe Dark Knight, but the first one was in the aughts. And so what is it? Dark Knight Rises? Is that the second one? Because that's the Heath Christensen one, right? Heath Ledger one. Wow. Oh yeah, 2010 was cool. Most people don't even know exists. I get to see HAL 9000 went crazy. Oh, you get to see why? Really? Every cough is met with suspension these days. Considers getting a flamethrower to cleanse where gamer grill. I know, I feel like I have to make an excuse every time I've coughed. I'm like, no, I'm just choking to death on something. Don't worry about me. You already hit it, Thor Ragnarok. It's true. I think Marvel got better along the whole franchise. Yeah, they definitely improved. Because, like, well, the second Thor movie's... I don't think the second Thor movie is better than the first one. But the third one is significantly better than all of the rest of the franchise. We should protest a better product for War Machine. I love it too. Petitions. But bullying a company into doing what they... I don't know, that's not my jam either, man. Fast and Furious sequels are all better than 1 and 2. I don't think I've even ever seen 1 and 2. Like, I've only seen Fast and Furious 7, 6, or I don't know, maybe 5 and up. It was well into the series where I was like, I don't know, this seems pretty self-aware at this point. That's a good point, Brian. Those are much better. Coming this October, we'll have a reboot G.I. Joe movie of Snake Eyes. War Machine the movie. What is your dream cast? So, you'd probably create a new Warcaster origin story or something for the world of the Iron Kingdoms if you were to do a movie. Gosh, who would make a good Warcaster? That's a great question. I hadn't considered that. I want to think about it a little while. What about a Tank Girl reboot? Oh, sure. Just throw it in there. Good evening. Who would you pick to play Eisenhorn? I'd seen a bunch of people posting Mark Strong, so that's permanently in my head. Like, I've completely been convinced that he's been cast for it. It's really hard to remember that he's not. But Mark Strong would make a great lead for that. Seems like you got a Predator scheme colors going on. Do I? Maybe not cured enough yet. Do you know why 3D printed miniature would crack and split after being submerged in soapy water? A 3D printed one. But is it a resin print or an extrusion print? I'm gonna call an exterminatus down on this chat. Owen Wilson should be in a Warhammer movie. Eldar are flanking us on the left. Wow. Actually, Owen Wilson could be kind of a great guardsman, couldn't he? I only discovered that 40K animated movie the other day. Looks rubbish. Are you talking about Ultramarines? Is it like the old animated movie? Because now the fan film Astartes looks amazing, and that's out in pieces right now. If you give that a watch, which maybe you've already heard of because it's super popular, and I was one of the last to hear about it. But whatever. From Etsy. Maybe in shipping it had some sort of weird heat, like a thermal expansion microfracture that got expanded in the water? I don't know. It seems weird. Movie Space Odyssey 2020 was much better than Space Odyssey. I'll have to say. If it's plastic and not resin, then it's probably PLA, which is a polymer made from plant starches. If it's resin, it shouldn't do that at all. Are you talking about the Dyatlov Pass incident? I am, actually, yeah. If it's resin and did that, there was some flaw in the printing process, I'd ask for a refund. Yeah. I think Bad Robots is better at the franchise since they made a lot of movies with Star Trek, some MCU, and other sci-fi genres. Maybe? You don't want too much of an expectation to be set though. Begins, Dark Knight Rises. Oh, okay. So I remember the Christopher Nolan Batmans, but I couldn't tell you the names of the individual ones. I mean, I can now, but thank you. Reboot the Silent Hill movie, but from Sean Bean's perspective, him running around the streets shouting Rose for 90 minutes. Some people would watch that. Oh yeah, Michael Bay and Zack Snyder have this whole, what, human lives are worth something vibe? Like this Transformers Superman movie needs some rad 9/11 type massive destruction with the screaming and flaming bodies. Then we cut to Megan Fox's butt. Okay, cool. Me basically. Although Michael Bay's pretty good at making the war movies. He did a great job on is it 13 Hours? And Pain and Gain is an interesting movie. I think I've only seen Fast and Furious 15. They get better and better. I have decided at this point I absolutely love the series. And I've not seen any of the original ones. Companies should execute on their visions, and we should decide if we like the direction they're going to cast our dollar votes accordingly. Well, that is how it works, though. I mean, that's why movies flop or do well, or especially when they really, really do well in like video sales, stream sales, or they pick up momentum as it's in the theater through word of mouth. So I mean, that is a natural occurring thing. John Wick sequels are good. I don't know if they surpassed the first one. Yeah. The thing is, I feel like John Wick, don't get me wrong, like, you know, John Wick feels very much like a one-trick pony type of movie. I know there's hate for that. I know a lot of people love it. But that came out at the same time, the Equalizer remake came out with Denzel Washington. And I like the Equalizer better, actually. It was like someone fighting for a reason, someone fighting to fix a wrong, and the other just being a vengeance movie. And I don't know, I think just plain old vengeance is a little empty. I don't know. Maybe that's me. Oh, Bumblebee. Far and away better than the other Transformers movies. So I saw Bumblebee. And it was interesting because they went for the whole 80s aesthetic. And I remember watching it in the theater going, none of this feels 80s. Even though they've got the aesthetic down. It's an 80s house and they're acting 80s. And I'm like, I felt like this kid, this girl who is kind of a rebel and an outcast and doesn't, you know, is trying to be that sort of 80s tomboy character. I feel like she would have smoked. And then, you know, I'm not like pro smoking at all. I don't smoke and I don't like it, but it, like, for the 80s vibe, seems like that absolutely would have been her character. And so it seemed like she was a little too, like, Disney-fied clean to be very authentic for me. And not like that was the make or break moment or anything, like her not smoking, but it was just like little pieces of grit on her that she just didn't have and didn't feel right. Another heavy metal genre. Akira was great. Akira was weird. Let's not fool ourselves. Akira is a super, super weird movie. That's that. Love the bike. Kaneda's bike is amazing. As a retired Signar player, they would have to get Tom Cruise to play Stryker, the most self-absorbed, douchey guy they could find. Stryker's not that douchey. If you read about him, he's just idealistic. Like, that's not the same. Plus, Tom Cruise would be way too old to play Stryker. I mean, he's, I think, even in modern era, in his 30s now, like mid-30s. So, you'd have to find a character who's become more grizzled, a little more disenfranchised, maybe more bitter after he ran up against what Menoth was willing to do, because in one of the big fights when he went to being epic was watching like Menoth killing a whole bunch of their own people just to try and get him, and him having zero respect for their value of human life. So no, I mean, Stryker's he's really not that bad, guys. I don't think he gets that Robert Gilliman treatment where everybody's like, oh, you're not so great. And it's like, but you're not a bad guy. You're actually a good guy. So, My boss has worked on Tank Girl. They have so many crazy stories about Ice-T as a kangaroo. Ice-T. Oh my gosh. Tank Girl is underappreciated, apparently. Have to have Sam Elliott as Nemo. Oh, yeah, that's a brilliant one. Yeah, Sam Elliott as Nemo would be so good. Oh, I would love that. He would rock that really well. Oh, how much longer can Sam Elliott, like, be in movies, though? There's a lot of good choices, guys. Stardust is freaking awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I'm at the Ultramarines one. The Stardust stuff looked great. Off to bed, nearly 5 a.m. Wow. Well, 6, I appreciate you popping by and hanging out. Thank you. I don't know about Sam Elliott as Nemo. He's a little too, I don't know, I guess I envision Nemo being more British, maybe? You can pretend he's British. It's fine. Priming an Intensita Superhawk VTOL for Infinity, Reality's Edge, and Cyberpunk RPGs now. Fair enough. What about Wilford Brimley's stash? No. Just talk about diabetes. Agree on Michael Bay for 40K? Yeah, he could probably do good 40K. For a 40K film, I'd like a simple raid-style movie with something like random citizen has been falsely accused of heresy, being hunted down by some group like the Sisters of Battle. Eliza Gonzalez as Denegra could be cool. Maybe. Diabetes. Yes. You ever watch the original Equalizer? One of these days I'll get around to it, because it's a TV show, I believe, yeah. I love John Wick, but I agree. One Trick Pony just happens to be my favorite pony doing my favorite trick. You know, that's a totally fair view of it. There's nothing wrong with that. I have a hard time remembering the name. Hobbs and Shaw. I keep thinking Fast and Furious, Calvin and Hobbs. I know, Hobbs does not. Is that right? Yeah, no, Michael Bay's Battleship was... Oh my god, he did Battleship? It was supposed to be after About Striker 3, changed quite a bit. Made good friends with Albert Hughes, and I was really in the loop with the live-action Akira movie he would have made. Everyone would have hated it. Fair enough. I mean, if it's gonna be... I don't know how well that translates to straight live-action without pretty massive changes, and once you do that, then there's people who are going to be mad that you weren't true to the material, and there are people who are going to be mad that you didn't do enough to change it. So, meh. Young Stryker was a douche. I don't know. Maybe he was trying to make a movie that he could tune into. Tom Cruise is age 58. Yeah, that's older than Stryker. I'd like to see a properly made movie of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Oh, I didn't even go see that one. That one looked so bad. Did you see Midway? I did. That was an interesting movie. It's very hammy, but it was enjoyable. Like, I liked that story, and it encouraged me to go look up that actual fight and that battle, and how important a battle it was, actually. So, yeah, I overall liked that movie. It was an interesting style they went for, aesthetically. Hi there. Hey, Lee. Oh, hey, Lee. I like when historical war films get it right. True. It was awesome. How the hell do you make a movie out of Battleship? Like, it's the most simplistic board game out there. I mean, they've been able to do that. I'll give you one better. How do you mess up a movie based on Battleship? Oh my god. I agree with Torrent. If I don't see a two-story tall teddy bear bleeding milk, then I'd rather just see the animated version. Yes. Is anyone gonna go see the new Dune movie? Of course. Yeah, I should read the books at some point, but I'll definitely see the new movie. Okay, I was going to bed, but you've inspired me to get to work on my Signar figs. Gonna grab another beer and start painting with you in the background. This is good for me. Oh, I'm sorry. It's actually the end. Like, I'm actually over time. I've totally lost track of time hanging out with you guys. So I actually have to go. So I'm sorry about that. Thank you guys so much for the wonderful chat in the movies, and I'm sorry I painted literally his belt. But it's very nicely painted. Look at that, in the lines. His pants are way too clean. He's definitely gonna get a wash on that, but you know. Got me all started in on all these movies. But there have been some great war movies. We can chat about that another time. Tyranids and Starship Troopers. Yeah, I mean, that was the whole thing. I know, Brian. I will do that. All right, well, I'm going to go. Thank you guys again. Hope to see you next week. I feel a lot better and more relaxed for this week's craziness. And I hope you do too. And remember to stay sane out there. So, bye.